is Mohammed Shahnawaz. I live in Durban, South Africa, and I'm presently running my own business. I was introduced to Star College and the Hizmet group through some ajib circumstances. We had gone for Umrah some time ago, and while we were there, we were making a lot of dua for my youngest son. While we were there at Umrah, we met some people that spoke about Star College, and that was the first time we heard about it. And so we had decided there and then that, when we come back, we're going to make some inquiries and find out more about this new school which had opened in Durban. There was like a 80-kilometer travel distance. And we had come for the interview, made appointments, come for the interview, and Alhamdulillah, Hamza was accepted at the school. And for the first almost 9 months, we had to travel daily from Pietermaritzburg to Durban, bringing Hamza to school. And for me, that sacrifice was absolutely worth it. And that was just the beginning. And to move on forward, I was introduced to Sekirabi. Sekirabi was very much like Arnold Schwarzenegger for us. Very well built, mashallah, good looking, and very nice to talk to. And he had introduced me and invited me to a sober meeting group with some other Abis. And Alhamdulillah, I joined the group and met, firstly was Mehmet Abi and a few other Abis. And not knowing, what this was all about, because this was the first time we actually went for Sobat. And for me, at that time, I was probably 50 plus years old. And in my introduction with Mehmet Abi, I had mentioned that, it looks like I became a Muslim for the first time. And, this was like, quite a thing for me, because Risale Noor from Ustad and the teachings of Hoja Effendi, Fethullah Gülen, answered so many questions that were in my mind forever. The story of free will, the story of death, the story of understanding life and the philosophy of life, and just being appreciative of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in so many ways that at one point I was upset with Mehmet Abi when I told him that this is a secret that you all have kept from us forever, because we don't know any of these things. We were very almost, I could say, like ritualistic Muslims, where we did the 5 pillars of Islam and we practiced it with very little understanding. And Risale Noor and Hoja Effendi's teachings actually filled all the gaps, or most of the gaps in our life, because obviously we cannot learn everything, and gave us a new understanding of Deen, which, fast forward today, I've got 6 grandchildren, and inshallah, maybe I can use this knowledge to introduce them to the real meaning of Islam through the teachings of Fethullah Gülen and Ustad, to basically understand why we are Muslims, what is our purpose in life, what are we expected to do in this short 50, 60 years of dunya, just come here and find our purpose, which is so important to give meaning to life. While Hamza was a student at school, I met people from Turquoise and Harmony Institute, and the one thing that really blew my mind away was in fact, there were many things, but if I can just remember a few, I will tell you. The iftar dinners that we were hosted by Turquoise, they were phenomenal. I mean, to just give you an example, I mean, we had maybe 10, 15, 20 tables in the center, and at each table were different people and different religions, different groupings, different captains of society that sat. But at that table was one Abi from Turquoise or from Harmony or from Star College that sat at the table, and during the many presentations, people at the table had questions, and obviously they couldn't take all the questions to the floor. So the Abi sitting at the table would field those questions and explain to the different people that, this is what we do, this is how we do it, why we fast, why we do this. Because I was like, I've been born South African, so I've been here for more than 50 years of my life, 60 years. And I didn't know that there's certain people didn't even know that Muslims fast and Muslims read the Quran or Muslims pray 5 times a day. They had so many questions about why the azan is given and so on. And the Abis at the table were the ones that fielded those questions, and I was so impressed by their knowledge of deen, their knowledge of explaining Islam to the layman. I could never have done it. So, but I learned myself. I was learning like those non-Muslims. Being a Muslim, I was learning at their table. The fact that they have got this interfaith dialogue going with many people, and I'm talking about all religions across all boards, and those leaders of those religion groupings can go back to their people and show the other side of Islam, because that part is never led to anybody. And this is where we have to acknowledge that Hizmet's doing a lot of work in terms of letting people know that Islam is a peaceful religion. It actually teaches peace, and those that do the violence, etc., are just purely doing it for selfish gain. From their acknowledgements and from their interfaith dialogue, interfaith meetings, they're going back to their people and explaining to them that this is what Islam is all about, has probably opened a lot of minds of people. And the media paints us as terrorists or hardliners or extremists, but these interfaith dialogue meetings and these acknowledgements of people in society and even government ministers and so on, without favor, I mean, they just were acknowledged, expecting nothing in return. And this was my experience, really, and it was quite a thing for me. I really was blessed to have been part of that. The one thing that really comes to mind is when my son came to the Star College for education, on our interaction with the teachers, for student counseling or whatever, I was so impressed by their humbleness, which whenever we came back home, and I told my son, I said, look, if anything, just learn to be humble. That is more important than your education, because humbleness is what takes you a long way in life. And learning this is no easy task. You actually can't be taught humbleness. You actually have to see it, experience it, and then learn from it. And today, shukr, I can see the humbleness in my child, which I can only attribute to the Hizmet movement, which tells us that together with education, they're teaching life skills. And together with education, they're not telling you to be the most important person in this dunya or the most powerful or the richest person. But you need to have the richness of the heart, which I appreciate. The importance of education cannot be spoken of enough, because again, if we only believe that the young generation of today are going to be the leaders of tomorrow, we have to give them education. And I've maintained all along that Star College has set a standard in education. I mean, I can remember one year when a previously disadvantaged student passed maths in metric at the higher grade, and the local MEC for education came to find out from the school what were they doing different to actually achieve this accolade. And this is purely from the dedication of the teachers. So if you see the dedication of the teachers coming through with students from previously disadvantaged backgrounds, it goes to show that they have got the capacity to do the work. They just need to be guided correctly, and they need to have teachers who have the right attitude towards guiding them and making them into good human beings. I'll give you an example. I mean, again, a teacher, Bati Rabi, used to actually shuttle a black student from a location in South Africa, which is where the people have been housed, the black people have been housed, which has always been deemed dangerous. But he gave him one-on-one tuition till the late hours of the night, and then took him home as well. I mean, that type of dedication you don't see in a hurry. The teachers have got one thing in their mind above everything else, and that is to give education, impart knowledge to the students. So for them, they're not waiting for the bell to ring in the afternoon to rush home, or for the salary check to go into the bank account at the end of the month or anything. They basically needed to get the students educated, and whatever it took, they did it. I mean, I think there was a maths teacher, Binder Rabi, who decided not to get married at one stage because he said it will interfere with his students' education. I mean, that kind of dedication you don't get in a hurry. And the other thing that I can remember clearly is that on the weekends when they were giving them tuition, which again was free of charge at their time, didn't cost us a cent as parents, the one teacher could handle 3 classes, teaching them simultaneously, walking between classes and doing the work. I was blown away. These guys, unbelievable. It takes a very special human being to actually overlook their own difficulties and always feel that the other person's difficulties are more important. They prioritize them that way. And I think, from the Islamic faith, where, we've been taught always to appreciate where you are by not looking at those above you, but keeping your eye on those below you, because you have more than them and you need to share with them. And that type of philosophy has basically, rubbed off on us, my whole family, my sons, my daughter. And this can be attributed to witnessing what the people of Hizmet do their whole life, basically. I mean, there were times when we did Eid al-Adha and we all contributed towards Qurbani, but they took the effort of packaging it into boxes, freezing it, getting vehicles and having it delivered to various places where poverty is rife. We did Eid al-Adha many times, and we just kind of chopped up the meat and gave it out fresh without freezing or anything. So it only made one meal. But Hizmet took it to another level. They froze it, they boxed it, and they had it delivered with dignity to many people who appreciated that kind of move. And besides me, my wife got involved in with the ladies of Hizmet, who did visits to old age homes and stuff that we didn't do. It was a fault on our part. It was lacking on our part, but they came and ignited that desire to serve people, to be helpful to people. Exactly living up to the name of Hizmet. My belief is strongly that whoever is on the path of haqq will always be tested. And this also is probably just a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we have to remain steadfast, where, the tests will be overcome, the good days will come. And if we just continue with Surah Duha and Alam Nashra, we can accept that even Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was tested. But, for me, I think very importantly, I read Ali Unar's tafsir of Quran, and to hear that he is being imprisoned for life, I mean, that hurts me, because he has done such a great service to do a tafsir of Quran which talks to normal human beings, talks to children, talks to adults in a language that is so easily understood. Has been an inspiration for me from the time I joined them. It hurts my heart, and to think that he can be persecuted in such a way with all the other thousands that are persecuted. I make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it easy for them and helps them to overcome this short period of suffering that they're enduring. Because even the remembrance of Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam, when he was imprisoned for being on the right, came back to be a leader. And inshallah, in a short time, the members of Hizmet who maintain their dignity and their pride and their their steadfastness will also come back much stronger. Allah Ta'ala has made it such that, you were bound by the boundaries of Turkey for many years. And again, like I say, you kept Ustad Beiduzaman Sayyid Nur a secret, you kept Risale Nur a secret, you kept the books of Fethullah Gülen a secret. And now, when Allah Ta'ala has almost, I could say, kicked you out of Turkey through His wisdom, but He's opened the rest of the world for you. He's put you into the doorstep of every other country around the world. He's put you into villages where you've never been to, or you wouldn't even think of going. And some of our great future alim scholars, students will come from these villages and these what we would call backward places, but they will be a beacon for Islam, inshallah. It's very difficult for the leader, Hoja Effendi, to actually endure all this, because he's already in an advanced age. And he can see that, the people are in pain, the people are being broken up, the families are being destroyed. But I'm sure that, with all his supplications and his du'as and all his efforts, that, Allah Ta'ala is going to listen one day and make it right. I mean, I feel for him, because he's got their burdens on his shoulders right now. And he probably, cries day and night to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and, wishes that, things change and become different, because only if you in the shoes of the person that's suffering will you understand what they're going through. I think I'd just like to finish off by saying that the Hizmet movement, the Turquoise, the Star College, the Risale Nur, Ustad Sayyid Nur's, Fethullah Gülen, Hoja Effendi, have impacted my life in a way I can't even put into words, because I have become a better person. I've become a better father, a better brother to my siblings, to my children, to my extended family. And constantly, you know, I use the Risale-i-Nur or even the books of Fethullah Gülen, which the Hizmet movement generously affords me from time to time as they get translated into English. And I quote them to the extended family on WhatsApp groups to actually encourage them and make them change their mindset about how they deal with their family, how do they deal with the children, because all this is education, education, education. And we need to, you know, broadcast this to everybody in South Africa, inshallah.